Hello, this video is for doing fourth axis turning mode. You can do this in the top or the side mode. Mach 3 will change the axis, whatever you need to, in the different modes. The side mode will be where the bit will be coming in um, from the horizontal, be hitting 90 degrees into the wood. Top mode would be where you're actually cutting on the side of the router bit and coming down from the top. So your Z would be just like it would be on the milling. It comes down from the top. If you do the side mode, your bit will be coming in from the side, which Y will be your Z. We're going to go through a basic uh, Bobcat making a turning mode. You see the 2D line here. This can be whatever shape that you want it to be. It could be a straight line, it could be a curve. We created a little bit of a curve here for it, and you're going to notice we're in the top view to start off with, and we're going to change this angle a little bit, or change this profile. I'm going to do a little isometric here view so that we can see it sideways. You see our plane. This is a Y, this is an X, and Z is coming up towards us. This little coordinate system shows you the different axis. The red X is the length of it where this artwork is at. First off, we're going to turn this 90 degrees. We're going to put this bottom part right here down at the bottom, or negative Z. We're going to do that by rotating it. We're going to put 90 degrees in the X. We're going to click enter the ordinance. We want that to be 0, 0. And then if we just take and create a box around it, right click OK, clicked all of it, hit OK. You see how it dropped down there below. Now if you want to tell it, because it's isometric, it's a little hard to see. If you click on top, you see how it's a straight line. You click on the front, it's down below. And we're going to be in the front view mode to start off with. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to raise this up. This is 0. We're going to raise it up about a ½ inch, and that way we're going to cut in above and take the material down. Wherever you're setting your material up, this is 0, so that's going to be your reference point to where you want to set it up on the block. If you want to create 0 in the center of your axis and this on the outside, you can, but you'll have to do the math and figure out how far that you need to go up, and then come down into it and figure up angle, or if you got a block, if you got a flat, or the peaks of the square block. So do that math. I'm just going to raise it up a ½ inch so you kind of see what it is, and you can do the other math around that. We're going to click on it here. Click on all of it. Right click OK. We click OK and see how it popped it up a ½ inch above it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create these tool paths, and they're just going to be in the shape of this. We're just going to keep creating the tool paths down until they machine off however far we want to go. We do that by going to milling stock, mill 3-axis. We go to engraving. Now it is important that you go to the 3-axis or mill 3-axis. If you do the 2-axis, it does not do a depth. We have to do the mill 3-axis. Do engraving. We do next. Select geometry. We're going to select our geometry. I notice I'm going to hit a cancel. Do a select geometry. I got a little dot right there, so we're going to just select on the line. Hit OK. Next. Now we're going to make a rapid. We're going to make it above ½ inch. So we're going to do .55. That way we're doing. Oh, I put too many dots in there. Okay. Next. Next. Now we're going to create our tool. Now I've got a tool set up, so I'm going to click on it, but you can hit add, and I'm just going to modify it so it shows you what I did. I created a 1/4 inch diameter. Now if you're cutting from the top, this would be a 1/4 inch round end mill. If you're cutting from a side, you would be using a 1/4 inch ball mill. We want to put our corner radiuses to be an 1/8 inch, because if you're cutting from the top, it is a cylinder. If you're cutting from the side with a ball mill, then once again the end of it is round. Name it whatever tool that you want, and then the next thing, you want to do is you want to click on this manual. And it's going to pop up these, give you these four options here. Let's set the cutting rate speed. We'll start out at 8. We also set the cutting spindle speed at, that's 55,000, 5,500. 8 feed rate for the Z. This number here for the spindle speed, you can change that. We're going to click OK. Click on that and then click OK, and then that sets up our tool path and our feeds and speeds here. We'll click through next, OK, and this is going to be our depth. I'm going to start out, normally I would do this at 0, but I'm going to start out at 10,000 so that you see the tool path. But normally you would start the first one at 0, and then that would give you a cut right where the line is. And you've seen how it pulled it down here. You also notice how we're going to start out above the cut, come down into it, and then follow the contour of it. And see that little green line there? That means my rapid plane is going to be above it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this feature so that I just keep repeating this feature, and then we're going to keep creating tool paths down below it, so it just keeps cutting off that same tool path. We're going to hit save. I've already saved this previous, so I'm going to click on it. We're just going to save it over top of it. Name it something that you'll remember in a folder that you'll be able to go back to. We'll hit save. Of course, it says it already exists. I'll just say OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load that feature, and then I don't have to do all the changes. Shift, click on the line, select the whole line, hit OK. Go to our feature, do an edit. Remember our 5.5. Do a next. Our tool we do not have to change. Now we're going to put this, and we're going to do 50 thousandths at a time. Do a finished. Compute toolpath. See how that's down below. Now we're just going to simply load and create a bunch of these. Now I'm only going to do a couple of them. I'll show you what the end result is a little later, or from another screen, but just give you an idea of how to do these. We'll make a couple of them. 5.5. Some reason the rapid plane does not stay the same from the save feature. You always have to change that. And then the last one was 50,000, so we'll do this at 100. Whoops, 100,000. Then compute the toolpath. You see how we're just bringing that thing down. Do a load feature. We're just going to keep doing these till we get down to where we want to cut our end, our last cut, or where we got it cleaned up, and you'll have to do a little math to figure out what that is. Okay, now you would want to continue on down to where you clean up your whole, if you're cutting from a square to a round, or if you got a cylinder and you want to, this is the top, you'll want to take that clear down to the cylinder part of it so that you've got this shape down into it. But what you want to do on your last cut, we're going to load the feature. We're going to make a real small cut, but also a real slow cut so that we can have a nice smooth surface, finished surface. Hit OK. But this time when we edit, we're going to do this the same as we did before. But we're going to change the speed. Let's take that down to like 2. We're going to make it slow it way down. And then we're also going to do, I think the last one was 150, so we're going to do 160 thousandths. Let's see if I got my number right. And you see how it brought one line down there to last, and that's going to be my slow finish cut. Whoops. Okay. You would want to continue this on down. I've got another screen here that shows you where I've taken that all the way down to, you know, where you're getting close to the 0 there. Once you have these where you want, you're going to come up here and go to the milling tools, do a save and post. We're going to call this whatever file name and put it in a folder that you want. We're going to test for video, create a folder so I know how to get to it. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is pull up that G code. If you just pull it up in a screen, I just brought that screen from another, or this folder, but this is just my documents. We double click on that and it brings it up in a notepad. And in Notepad you can change this. You notice how these screens, one thing Mock or Bobcat does not do, and I do not know why, but see this S55? That should have been on this first line. So we're going to have to do a capital S 5500 here. That way that will get our spindle started running, but all the others have it in there. You also notice your feed rate, F8 there after your first line. That's going to set the feed rate. Now let's go down to the last one. You see how it's F2 down here? That's our slow one. This last one's going to be our slow. So after we made those changes, we're going to hit File, Save, and then you're going to take and simply put this file in Mach 3 and run it. As always, try to run back and forth to make sure you're not going to hit anything, testing it in your Mach 3, and it doesn't hurt to run it above first time, cutting error to see if the shape and the profile is going to go the way you want instead of running a good piece of wood. That's it for turning mode in on the 4th axis.